Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS. Let's get started with our daily quiz and look at question number 1. But first up, what is the context? This is today's business standard PM-Kisan benefits reach the farmers of Bengal for the first time. Now let's look at the question on PM-Kisan. Which of these statements regarding Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi or PM-Kisan Yojana is or are correct? Statement 1, it is 100% centrally funded scheme under which rupees 6,000 is transferred in 3 equal installments to all eligible farmer families in a year, and this amount is directly transferred into the bank account of the eligible farmers. This you would know is a correct statement. But who has the responsibility of identifying these eligible farmer families and uploading that data on the PM-Kisan portal? This responsibility is of the states and the union territories. So statement 2 is also correct. Statement 3 is also correct because under the scheme, the states and union territories, they are required to set up grievance redressal committees so that grievances related to the implementation of the scheme can be looked into. But statement 4 is incorrect because this data of grievances is maintained at the state level. This data is not maintained at the central level. So 1, 2, 3A is the right answer. Now let's look at question number 2. Which of the following can be considered competitive advantages of the red-eared slider over the native turtle species? What is the context? This is today's The Hindu newspaper. US slider turtles pose a threat in Northeast. Not just in Northeast, but also in states such as Karnataka and Gujarat. US slider turtles, also known as red-eared slider, these are native to the Southern America and Mexico. This is considered to be an exotic pet species. But this cute pet could turn nasty for 29 native species of turtles and tortoises in Northeast. What's the question? Which of the following can be considered competitive advantages of the red-eared slider, and why are they considered as threats to the native turtle species? Number 1, lower age at maturity. Number 2, higher fecundity. And number 3, larger adult body size. These slider turtles, they have lower age at maturity, means they mature at a very young age. In fact, males mature much earlier than females. So this is correct. That is why they pose a threat to the native turtle species. Number 2, higher fecundity, which is higher fertility, their ability to reproduce in abundance. That is why they are considered as threat to the native turtle species. And their large adult body size, which basically means they compete with the resources, with the food, and ultimately native turtle species, they are threatened. So select the correct option from below. D, all of the above. All these are considered competitive advantages of the slider turtles over the native turtle species. Staying with these turtles, let's look at question number 3. Consider the following statements. Number 1, the red-eared slider is traded illegally in India. Number 2, continuous releasing of exotic pet turtles in natural ecosystems increases the risk of parasite transmission to native species. Statement 3, because of their omnivorous diet and ability to adapt to various habitats, the red-eared slider has a great potential for impacting indigenous habitats. Red-eared slider, they are not traded illegally in India. Their trade is legal. But both these other statements are correct. 2 and 3, B is the right answer. Because of their omnivorous diet, their ability to adapt to various habitats, they have a great potential for impacting indigenous habitats. And also when you release exotic pet turtles in natural ecosystems, and this is something that we have seen in Karnataka, we have seen in Gujarat, where we have seen there was higher parasite transmission to the native species. B, 2 and 3 is the right answer. Now let's look at question number 4, but first up, let's look at the context. This is today's The Hindu newspaper. 186 elephants killed on rail tracks in over 10 years. Assam accounted for the highest number of casualties. And now the deaths in Assam is to be probed. What is the question? African forest elephant, African savanna elephant, Asian elephant, which of the above has or have been categorized as critically endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature IUCN? It is African forest elephant, it is critically endangered. African savanna elephant and Asian elephant, they have been categorized as endangered. So A, only one is the right answer. Let's look at Prelims 2011 question. In India, if a religious sect or community is given the status of national minority, what special advantages is it entitled to? Number one, it can establish and administer exclusive educational institutions. This is correct under Article 30 of the Constitution. Two, the President of India automatically nominates a representative of the community to Lok Sabha. It cannot be true. There is no communal electoral system in India. There is no reservation based on religion or sect or community. Number three, it can derive benefits from the Prime Minister's 15-point program. It's a program launched by the Government of India way back in 2006 for the welfare of minorities. So 1 and 3 is correct. C is the right answer. Now let's look at fact of the day, Committee on Public Accounts. What is the context? Since the parliament is not functioning, there have been demands that the committees of the Indian parliament should be allowed to meet virtually. But the Rajya Sabha Secretariat has rejected virtual meetings of these committees, primarily because they say that virtual meetings would violate the confidential nature of such meetings. And if these virtual meetings are to be allowed, for that we need the approval of the parliament. One such committee whose chairperson also requested for virtual meetings was this Committee on Public Accounts or Public Accounts Committee. This Committee of Public Accounts was established way back in the 1920s or 1921 based on the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. After the commencement of the Constitution in the 1950, this Committee on Public Accounts was revamped. It consists of 22 members, 15 are from Lok Sabha, 7 are from Rajya Sabha. The purpose of this Committee on Public Accounts is to examine the reports of the CAG, and you would know that CAG submits 3 types of reports. One is the report on the Appropriation Act, the other is the report on the Finance Act, and then we have the report on public sector undertakings. Some of these reports submitted by the CAG on public sector undertakings are also examined by another committee of the parliament called the Committee on Public Undertakings. And these reports are later on examined by the Committee on Public Accounts. And when this parliamentary committee examines these reports, CAG plays a very important role there, and CAG provides its expertise to the members of the parliament to examine these reports. That is why we call CAG the friend, philosopher, and guide of the Committee on Public Accounts. And this is the question which was asked in the Prelims 2013, and that is how you have to look at these current affairs topics. Consider the following statements. The Parliamentary Committee on Public Accounts, number one, consists of not more than 25 members of Lok Sabha. This is incorrect because it has 22 members, 15 from Lok Sabha, 7 from Rajya Sabha. It scrutinizes appropriation and finance accounts of the government. This is correct. It examines the report of the CAG. It is correct. So 2 and 3, B, is the right answer. That is it from our daily quiz. Thank you for being with us. Have a great evening.